I thought I had a laziness problem. Truth is, I didn't. My calendar was always full. I was busy day in, day out, and I always felt behind on everything. So I came to realize a very uncomfortable truth. I wasn't controlling my week was controlling me. Back then, when I was a manager, my schedule was busy. Always moving around, always had work to do. I had to wear many hats. I had to fill in many roles just to make sure that everything was working smoothly, if it was even working smoothly. But I realized that that constant moving, that constant reactivity, because that's what it was, anything that popped up, I immediately had to react to it and take care of it in the moment. So it felt like I was just putting out a lot of fires instead of following a productive path. And so what I tried to do was I tried to force consistency, force that discipline. I kept telling myself, well, I have to work harder to make this work. And so by the end of the week, Friday rolled along. It felt like I hadn't gotten much done, while at the same time I felt tired because I had gotten a lot of things done. But it was mostly headless chicken, running around. No path, no determined priorities. It was just reactive mode constantly. So I was constantly on the move, constant action, day in, day out. And so, of course, that all just led to me feeling tired, led to that exhaustion, led to that burnout. So these past few weeks, I have had to really think about the change that I now have to, especially not having to deal with that anymore, change the way that I think, change the way that I live my life now, and start prioritizing. So after I took time to really slow down and really think about where I want to be and thinking about this channel and everything, I realized and have been learning a lot about keeping structure in your life. Structure is huge. And I've actually noticed that by creating structure in your life, which in my case is mostly blocking out time for certain activities in that certain time frame throughout the week, it's helped me be less reactive on the spot. So I felt like I was leaning heavily on motivation and I was letting my emotions take control. I was making my decisions based on those emotions and that reactivity. So one thing I did learn, or have learned these past few weeks, motivation doesn't really get you there, does it? It's great in the moment. You're motivated, you're inspired, you take off and you start working on your project, whatever that may be, and you're motivated and it feels great in the moment. But what actually happens when that motivation disappears? When you don't have that motivation anymore, most of the time, we just go back to square one and we wait for that motivation to hit again. And I realized that doesn't really work. It really doesn't. Because then there is no structure, nothing really is getting done. So what I realized was I needed more structure in my life. And I've been working on it these past few weeks, working on my schedule, working on just blocking out time for different things and keeping it on a weekly. It's still a work in progress. It's still a prototype, but I have, and I mean, I've been writing out my schedule and everything on this notebook, which is starting to get a little full, but it's helped. It's helped me realize that by maintaining that structure, I can keep my reactivity level low. Back then, I was reacting to everything on a level 6, 7, or 8. Nowadays, because of this structure that I'm kind of starting to implement and installing in my life, I'm seeing that reactivity level on a weekly basis is starting to lower. 5, 4, I would even dare to say it's gone down to a 3. But what I have started to work on with this new structure that I've implemented in my life, my new operating system, which is how I'm calling it, I've been able to assign different roles to every day of the week. So income has its own slot, outreach has its own slot, which is related to a mini business that I'm working on, a project that I'm working on. Family time has its own slot. Faith and spirituality has its own slot. I'm blocking out time to dedicate to these roles, to these important aspects of my life. So in my case, I start my week from Monday and I end it on a Sunday. Sunday is more of my reset day, and Sunday also helps me review what I've done throughout that week, and that's the only day I choose to adjust and tweak anything in my schedule for the following week. So that review time that I dedicate on Sunday helps me evaluate how my previous week looks like. And really, I'm counting on 3 aspects. I'm working on 3 things that help me kind of determine how my workflow is throughout the week and how I can better myself week by week. And really the things that I'm kind of tracking right now is the hours that I'm reclaiming, the deliverables that I'm completing, and then my reactivity level throughout that whole week as well. That just gives me enough data, in this case, in my case, to see where I'm at, the bigger picture, on a day-by-day basis, on a weekly basis, and eventually I kind of want to see how this takes me throughout, like where this takes me in the next 30 days. So really this is it's kind of an experiment that I'm performing right now. It's a 30-day experiment, not anything perfect, anything like that. It's not a challenge. It's not something that I need to keep the streak alive for 30 days straight. This is more of an experiment. I'm testing it on myself, keeping to the schedule that I'm creating, keeping that structure aligned. I'm excited about this. I'm seeing that it helps me even when I'm not really that motivated, but it's making me prioritize and keep to those time blocks, which is tremendously helpful. Because it helps me organize my day to day. It's not perfect. I'm still working out the kinks. I'm still working everything out on a day-by-day basis, and my schedule is shifting because I've time blocked certain things that I have seen that I need to kind of shift to maybe another day or another hour or anything like that. But it's a work in progress. And this is something that I'm starting to realize throughout these couple of weeks, the impact that this could have in your life. So I'm testing this out on me. As I continue to grow, obviously I will continue to document all of this. I will continue to share kind of the step-by-step eventually with how I am structuring this all out, this operating system, and how it could even help you in your case. So I'm no longer chasing that motivation, waiting for that inspiration to hit. I'm now chasing, in a way, or creating, better words, creating more structure in my life and trying to adhere to those blocks of time day by day. I'm noticing a change. I'm noticing that it's actually helping me a bit better, keeping my life organized, keeping my time prioritized, but also helping me take some time to reflect and give me some me time to dedicate to myself, to help me grow, not just productivity-wise, but mentally, physically, spiritually, And I think we all need this, especially if we're living hectic lives. I feel like it benefits us all if we were to just structure our lives. So this is something that I am working on. I will continue to share what I find, what I learn from this experiment, different aspects of it, and maybe that's something that could help you in your life as well. Leave me a comment if you have any questions. If you think this is something you'd be interested in as well, I'd love to talk about it. Thank you so much for being here, for taking the time to watch this video, especially if you've watched it all the way through to this point. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I hope you and yours are well. Until next time.